He doesn't have a beard, does he? No, no, Hulk does not have a beard. Looking good. Look at that face. So nice. So beautiful. I think it's a bit overrated that Hulk is always angry. I think Hulk should be happy. I think my cat is taking a crap. Very majestic. He's the most majestic chin I've ever seen. Very beautiful. Today might be a very good day for you. I got this tablet from Amazon. This is a really cheap tablet. It's from Huion and it's as big as my hands. I mean, look at that. This is ridiculous. I don't know how to work with this. The working space is actually even smaller. It is so minuscule. Look at that, so small. But anyways, it's really budget friendly and I'm getting sick of getting asked whether we can use a mouse to sculpt, because of course you can use a mouse to sculpt, but it's crap. It's why would you want to do that? Well, maybe because you don't have enough money to get an expensive tablet, and I get that, and this is why I'm trying to find a solution for you. This is really budget friendly. It's cheaper than most mouses out there, definitely cheaper than my mouse. It's around 30 bucks, even less on discounts. I'll give you more details on the tablet later on. First, we need to make sure whether this tablet is good enough. So I'm gonna sculpt the Hulk using this minuscule tablet right here in front of you and see if it's good enough. Let's check it out. All right, so here I will start with a sphere and I'm gonna go to sculpt mode and quickly shape his head. I wanna make sure it's boxy, it's big, it's hulky, you know? I don't really know what kind of style I'm going for, so I'm just gonna keep shapes simple for now. I'll do some blackout and work the style as I go. So anyways, let's see if this tablet is worth anything, really. So I will use Shift D, duplicate this, and move it downwards like that. And that would be his neck. And just keep things nice, simple, primitive, and yeah, low detail. So anyways, the tablet's really small, so any movement really moves the thing across the screen. It will take a bit to get used to sculpting with a very small tablet like this. So let's see if I can get used to it while recording this video. I can go to the sculpt draw brush and just carve this area over here and shape his neck doing that. And then maybe smooth things out a bit. I'll go and add his Adam's apple right here like that, and then just continue carving at his sternocleidomastoid muscle because I know my anatomy. You should too. I have an anatomy course, by the way, on my Gumroad. You can check it out. Here I can add his clavicle, his collarbone, and I'm just going to quickly add it like this. Very nice. I will go back to the face, Shift D, duplicate it. I'm too lazy to create a new sphere. I'll go to edit mode, put it to the right over here, and just go here and symmetrize like this. So I'm gonna keep his ears really small compared to his head and just put it out like that. And then I'll go to his face with Alt Q in Blender. In case you didn't know, you can switch between two objects in sculpt mode instead of going back to object mode. I don't want to spend too much time on any one part at the stage. That's not a good idea because I'm still working this tile. But anyways, this allows me to test the tablet by using it really fast this way, which is not a bad thing. And with the sculpt draw brush, I will use Control to carve this area. So I'm carving his eye socket because I want to add his eyes, right? Hopefully that's clear enough. Carve his temple. So the temple's around this area over here. So I'm gonna just draw his nose like this, just push it outwards like that. Make sure that his nose going backwards a bit over here. So you want the wing of the nose to be close to the eyes. Here I will carve this area, add on this area, and this way we can really see the cheekbone. And then I'll continue adding form over here to the mouth and really bulk this area out because the mouth is round. You should know this by now, by the way. If you don't, you're not watching my channel. That's not a good thing. So make sure to subscribe to the channel. I think there's something very important missing, and that's his green color. I'll go to paint. We have paint in sculpt mode right now in Blender, which is really cool. So here I can just right click. Let me see if I can. Ooh, see? We're gonna test this pen and see if the buttons work. So I'm gonna right click over here. It works. Okay, cool. I will go to a green color, but I want to make sure that I am sculpting Hulk and not some other character. As long as it's green, he's Hulk. All right. I like the form. I like the basic forms, the proportions. They're looking good. I think if we add the eyes right now, it'll help us a bit with the design. So here I will go to edit mode. I'll just scale it and put it over here. So here I will add a mirror modifier right there. And now I can start sculpting and see if the position of the eyeball works for me. I don't really know what expression I'm going for at all. So I'm just like winging it right now. I'm just giving him a sad face. Look at that. He's always angry. Maybe we should make him happy. Maybe we should give him a smile. So if I go back here and carve it like, oh, okay, that doesn't look like Hulk. All right, let's stick to how it's supposed to look like. Very angry. Sad, angry Hulk. All the time. All the time. Make sure to push out his brow. So a male character usually has a more prominent brow. Someone like Hulk probably has it a lot more prominent. So I'm just gonna push it outwards like that and just sculpt that brow, make it really big like this. And I wanna make his fill trim really long like this, like really, really long. Okay, like that. That looks funny. Oh, maybe even longer. Nice. Oh, I like that. Okay. And then I will just remove from this area to add his filter, which is this area over here. I don't know if you can see it, but it's over here. Maybe work his nose a bit more, and I'll just crease his mouth. I'll make sure to push his mouth backwards a bit because again, it's round like that. Here I will add the mâchoire. This is basically the masseter or the masseter. I don't really know how to pronounce it. I forgot, but it's the jaw muscle that's looks a bit like that. All right, so it seems like I've been sculpting for a little over 10 minutes. So far, the tablet's not bad. It's a bit small, so I have to be careful when I'm moving my hand around because just a slight movement, as you can see, would move the cursor all around the screen. Also, I'm not used to working on a tablet like this anymore. I'm actually now used to working on a screen tablet in a different position, as you can see. So it's gonna take a bit to get used to, but let's see how I feel about it later in the video as I continue sculpting Hulk. So I wanna make the skull smaller. I want a small skull for Hulk because all he is good for is being angry and he doesn't really need a lot of brains. I'm kidding. I just think he'd look more interesting with a smaller skull. That's all. I feel like I insulted Hulk, but yeah, sorry about that, Hulk. Anyways, so I use the right button quite often when sculpting, so it's important for me to test it with this pen and see if it's comfortable enough. So far, so good. It's a bit less comfortable than my pen that I use with this screen. It's not the same quality, obviously not the same price either, but it works. So far, it works well. Just Shift D the ears over here, and I'll just move it to the right over here, so above the eyes. So here, by creating the eyelid separately, I can easily work the form without worrying about the surroundings. So maybe he's sad, maybe he's happy, maybe he's angry. I don't know yet. We're gonna figure that out as I sculpt. So yeah, I'm just gonna smooth this area, and I want to make sure to add some flesh to the corner of the mouth. There's a lot of muscle connecting or overlapping over here, and yeah, that adds that flesh over here, so make sure to add that when sculpting your characters. That's a little tip for you. So you want to make sure you're working the form everywhere. You want to give volume to everything, right? You don't want to keep things flat. That's a very often mistake I see beginners tend to do. It looks a little bit like Frankenstein, to be honest. Maybe I'll add his nasolabial fold over here and make it prominent. I don't know about that yet. I'm going to just add it and see if it works. We never know. It could look really cool. One crease and he looks that much older. Maybe a bit cooler too, so I might keep it. By the way, let me know what you think about this new format. I added another camera over here so that I can make videos like this and create more content for you guys. So if you enjoy this, do let me know in the comment section below. I would appreciate it. Look at that. That looks cool. I like it. I like it very much. So here I will add the lower lips. It's looking good so far. I want to make sure to pull out the chin. We want it to be prominent, right? Unless he has a receding chin. But still, you know, it would protrude a bit in normal cases. This is a bit too much, but the point of working stylized is to push the forms and see what you can get. And if you don't like it, you can always go backwards, you know what I'm saying? I will just move it and see if adding a lower eyelid would make Hulk a bit more interesting, right? So it's a bit harder to be precise with a small tablet like this. So when I'm working with a small area like that, I am struggling a bit more than I would with a big tablet like this one, of course. But just keep in mind, you have big tablets like this one. You don't really need a screen tablet. Right now, I'm just going for a cheap tablet. I want to see if this works. This way you can know if you're on a budget, you can get a cheap tablet instead of working with a mouse. You guys gotta stop asking me that. Can you sculpt with a mouse? Yes, you can. You can sculpt with a mouse. It's possible. It's not smart, but it's possible. Actually, I'm gonna duplicate the upper eyelid over here and I'm gonna decrease it to 0.04 for the remesh. Whoops. 0.04. Okay, thank you very much for working this time. Again, working these little areas is a bit trickier with this tablet, I won't lie. Add some cheekbone over here. You know, it's a zygomatic bone. It goes from here to over here. And I'll just quickly add this part over here. I'll pull it out with the grab brush like that. And I will just crease this area over here. Clay strips over here. For the trapezius, just add some volume, make sure I'm working the form, maybe just pull this part outwards a bit for the collarbone. So I'm just going to work the muscles here a bit. I'm just going to sculpt them really fast. Just quickly sculpt this area and go to clay strips and then just push this out for his chest muscle. Let's not forget, Hulk is a bit muscular. I think he can be more muscular if he wants to, but I think he is happy with the way he is right now, so I'm not sure he's going to become more muscular with time. What should I do next? What do you think? I don't know why I'm asking you. You're not really going to answer while I sculpt this and record this. Hulk is looking really cool. I think he's looking, I don't know. What do you think? Let me know in the comment section below if he's looking cool. But of course, wait until I finish him. We're still working on this Hulk. I'm going to go over here and work his sternocleidomastoid. It feels so refined, you know, sternocleidomastoid. Such a refined word, right? So I'm going to connect it a bit over here like that. Maybe remove from this area. I still know my anatomy, I guess. Okay, all right. I'm just gonna add muscle over here. So much muscle. And I will take a break over here because I need some coffee. And my coffee is kind of running out. Okay, I guess it's time to add some hair. All right, so I will use Shift A and create a UV sphere. I'm gonna go to sculpt mode and I'll just paint. Okay, so here I'm gonna go to edit mode, just put the sphere over here and I will just put the hair all around his head. He is honestly starting to look really like Frankenstein. I need to work on that. Frankenstein looks cool too. So if he looks like Frankenstein at the end, I guess that's fine. That's not really the point of this video. Point is just testing out this tablet. With the snake hook brush, I can start just grooming his hair like this. Perfect. Maybe I could raise some of these hairs upwards like that. So far that's all right. That's okay. That works. I will just make some of these hair strands a bit sharper over here. Maybe adds a bit more like this. He doesn't have a beard, does he? No, Hulk does not have a beard. I don't know. I feel like I'm sculpting Frankenstein. All right, whatever. Work this eyelid over here like that. Ooh, made him angry. All right, so by making him look a bit angry, he looks a bit more like Hulk and less like Frankenstein. Okay, so I guess a lot of it has to do with the eyes. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna take this over here and then just shift this, Control J, go to sculpt mode, Control R to merge everything. I'm just gonna continue working this area. All right, and now I'm basically just working the form. I'm adding volume where it should be added and just making sure nothing looks flat where it shouldn't. All right, so we're just working the form. His eyes, don't know about your eyes, buddy. I do not know about your eyes yet. Maybe even work the nose a bit here. I feel like the nose can improve. So again, when I'm working with these little small areas, that's where I feel like, all right, this tablet can do a bit better than this. It's a bit too small for these areas, but still it's doable. So nothing you can't work with. It's just a bit less comfortable than what a bigger tablet would be, basically. I'll carve his nostrils because he doesn't have them right now. So he needs some nostrils. He needs to breathe. So I need to make sure to add it. So far, I am impressed that with a really cheap tablet like this, you can basically start sculpting. So for everybody asking about whether you can sculpt with a mouse, all right, I get it. You want to sculpt with a mouse, but I think there are better solutions if you're on a budget. All right, okay. So right now I'm testing it out. Let's see what we can get with this one. But yeah, I'm optimistic about this. I'm optimistic about this being a good choice. All right, so I'm sculpting on the right over here, but I'm actually looking on the left over here to properly see how it looks like while I'm sculpting it without the cursor bothering me. All right, so that's looking nice. I'm going to continue doing this for now. I'm just gonna continue working the forms because the proportions, the style, it's doing well. It's doing well. Feeling optimistic about the final results over here. It looks a bit Frankenstein-y, probably because of how long I made this part over here and his eye expression as well. I'll crease this area to make it a bit more prominent like this. And with control, I can do the opposite over here and continue making it prominent by pulling this out like that. Nice. Nice. And yeah, it's looking good. I think this area here is looking a bit weird, so I'm going to just add some form like this with the clay strips brush, as you can see. So it's cool, you can see some of these things live and see how I sculpt, maybe learn a thing or two from these techniques. So there's something a little finicky when I'm changing the size of the brush. I think I'm not applying enough pressure to apply the size. That doesn't happen with my other tablet, so I guess it just needs a bit of getting used to, because I am working with something I'm not used to yet. Looking good. Look at that face. Look at that face. So nice. So beautiful. And we're going to improve the torso a bit and just continue working these forms. So I want to add his Adam's apple a bit more, make it a bit more prominent over here, crease this area over here and work the form of his neck. All right. We don't want it to be blocky. It's real form, right? You always have to work your form when you're sculpting. Very, very important. You know, you could be bad in anatomy. If you're good with working form, you can get some really cool looking sculpts. The other way around, it's true as well. You can be really good at anatomy, but not be good at creating form, and your work just won't look good. It's the sad truth. I wouldn't say it's sad. You just need to learn how to work the form. And by working the form, I mean really working the form, you know, sculpting the form. Don't just keep it hanging, you know, work every area and make sure it looks good. Make sure the shadows look good. Make sure the shading looked good. I have a video on how to sculpt anything with 10 tips or something that I released not long ago, where I was sculpting a hand in that video. You definitely need to check it out if you don't know what I'm talking about here, because that video is very helpful. It has a lot of cool tips. So here I'm working the trapezius. I feel like I can make it look a bit more prominent without making it too big. So here I gotta work the form. I gotta remove some of these areas over here to make this area look like it's bulging out a bit more. And that's what I mean by working the form. You see, you gotta be smart about your choices over here. By the way, I got a new VR headset. Let me know if you want to see some VR content, VR sculpting on this channel again. I know it's been a long time since I did them, but with this new VR headset, I am motivated to give it a go again. If you are interested, let me know in the comment section below. Also, while we are here, if you're interested in learning how to sculpt, I have a Gumroad store with courses, and also my Patreon is a great place to learn how to sculpt. So definitely check it out. All of this is in a link in the description below. Very muscular, dude. You know what I'm saying? Look at how muscular this is. Look at that. And here I will take the clay strips and just slightly add some form over here. So I'm gonna slightly add some form over here. Very, very subtle form. And it's important to do this with this tablet to test out the pressure sensitivity. I want to make sure that whether I want to add slight pressure or a lot of pressure, will it work with this tablet? Will I be able to control the pressure easily or not? Because this is one of the main reasons you use a graphics tablet instead of a mouse. It's for the pressure sensitivity. I think it's a bit overrated that Hulk is always angry. I think Hulk should be happy. I think he should have a smile on his face. How many of us can say they have green skin? Not a lot of us. He has green skin and he should be happy about it. So I'm just working the form on all sides. And this is great because it's really showing me the limits, the limitations of using a tablet like this. So working these areas, you know, with the screen, I would just turn around and go around these sections. But with a tablet like this, it's a little trickier, especially because it's small. It's not about it being a non-screen tablet. It's about being a small tablet. I didn't want to go with an angry face. I just didn't, but I might. I don't know. I do not know. Do we want to give him a sad look like this? Like that. Okay. Sad Hulk. Or do we want to make him angry? I'm gonna take this whole area over here. I'm just gonna raise it. So I'm gonna use the mask tool. So I'm gonna use Ctrl-Shift-B, grab this lower area, and then I will smooth the mask and just raise this area and see if it looks better, a bit more raised. I'll just mask this lower parts, smooth the mask, and just decrease this area over here and make him look a bit angrier. I can hide this to see what he looks like right now. I think I'm gonna make him look angrier. Definitely gonna make him look angrier because he just looks a bit more like Hulk this way. So yeah, why not? Might as well follow the cliche of Hulk, of him looking angry. This is looking great. I actually prefer with this expression, I won't lie. So I'm just gonna go ahead and smooth out most of the sculpt and work that volume again. It's definitely a process, all right? So when I'm smoothing here, I am not just smoothing everything in the sculpt. I'm smoothing only parts of the sculpt, right? So for example, I want to smooth this area. I wouldn't just smooth everything like this. It would get rid of the details. Instead, I'd make sure to smooth this area separately and then this area separately, you know? This way I can keep the details. All right, so you gotta be smart on how you smooth your sculpts. I'm thinking of adding a dimple over here, so I'll take the sculpt draw brush and just remove from this area here and work the form a bit like that. Just slowly remove and then smooth some of this area and go to clay strips, and then I'll start adding form and bulking this area out a bit. So you gotta work the form, man. You gotta work the form. Make it look good. Hell yeah, look at that. Look at that chin. Yeah, that looks good. Look at this chin. Look at this. Very majestic. It's the most majestic chin I've ever seen. Very beautiful. What I really like about this tablet is that it's cheap. So I can really press on it and not worry about messing the screen or anything like I would with this one. Right, so I can press hard, but that's not really good for your hands anyways, for your wrist. You don't want to press too hard all the time. Food for thought. Or is it thought for food? I don't. All right, so here I will just quickly add some flesh and work this form, make it look good. I think my cat is taking a crap. I can hear her hitting on the litter box. I don't know if I should say that here on YouTube. Did I say that on YouTube? I don't know. All right, so I'm paying attention to all of the form, all of the shading, and I'm just adding volume like that. So here I'll continue to work this area. I'll just add some more clay strips. You see this part over here looks like it's going outward, so I'm gonna just add some clay in between to make it look a bit more connected. This area might be going backwards a bit too much. What I'm gonna do here is with the mask brush, I'll mask the lower lip. We can see that here if I click on this. I will just smooth the mask and lower this area here a bit and move it forward a bit. This part right here, right there. Just move it just a bit forward. Okay, and then Control I, and I can do the same thing over here. And I wanna just push out his lips like this a bit. That's looking good. Just stylizing it a bit, that's all. And of course, I'll add some volume over here. All right, looking good, man. Again, I want to push this upper part outwards. Look at this character. Look at this Hulk. Look at his filtrum. And remove from this area here. You know, honestly, when I started using this tablet, I didn't think it would do this good, but it is. That's a great surprise. And this proves that you don't necessarily need the most expensive tablet out there to sculpt. See, drawing with this tablet might be a bit trickier, I think, because you're drawing with lines. You want your lines to be a bit more precise, probably. So I can see that if you're drawing, then you should definitely opt for a bigger tablet. Again, there are options for bigger tablets that are not expensive. It'll be more expensive than this one, for sure, but yeah. So I'm trying to make these angles a bit sharper of his ears. The angle changes like that, with it still looking like a human ear, I guess, and not like an elf ear or a goblin ear or something. All right, that looks pretty good. That's what I'm going for. I say some of the weirdest shit when I this, whatever. So what else can I do? Maybe work on the nose a bit. I feel like the nose needs some loving, and make these areas a bit more separate, or at least appear as separate like so. And just continue to work the shape of the nose a bit more. And of course, the way it's connected to the rest of the face. That's important. You got to make sure that everything works together. I'm gonna use Control with clay strips to kind of shave off from this area and create this lower plane that I'm going for. I'm going to push the nose backwards a bit, but to do so, I will actually use Control-Shift-B, create a mask over here. I'm gonna smooth the mask first, and then I'll move this area backwards just a bit for the nose. Here, I'm gonna use the Draw Sharp brush and just add some wrinkles over here. Since he gets angry a lot, I think he got more wrinkles than the normal person would. You gotta make them prominent. Okay, so I'm gonna continue working the wrinkle over here. All right, so it's time to work the eyes here a bit. So I'm gonna go to edit mode. I will rotate it on the x-axis by 90 degrees. I'll move these vertices forward on the y-axis. I'll take this and do the same here. And then I'll just use Control R, add a ring around the eyes. And by doing that, if I right click and add a shade smooth, we can get the eyes to look like this. Okay, that looks good. Nice, so we have the eyes, and now basically I need to just place it properly. So I'm gonna just place it to the right here a bit, move it forward a bit. And of course, I'll have to work eyelids to fit the eyes properly where the iris is in the middle. Control B, I'll grab this whole thing. Control I, smooth mask, and just make him look a bit angrier. So initially I didn't want to make him look angry, but Hulk is Hulk, you know? Always angry. Dude needs to chill. All right, since I'm giving him an angry expression now, I definitely need to bulge out his nasolabial fold. You know, when you raise your mouth, that bulges out. So yeah, I'm just gonna do that right away. So yeah, so far the two main concerns when sculpting with this tablet is one, it's too small, so you have to be a bit careful if you want to be precise, basically. And two, a bit of a comfort issue, I guess, in long hours of sculpting because your hand's really stiff and in one area instead of moving all around. So far, these are the two main negative points of a cheap tablet like this. And it's mainly about the size and not about how well the tablet works, because the tablet works pretty well, to be honest. The sensitivity is not bad. It's not as good as my tablet, but it's pretty close. It just works. I don't really see any issues with the tablet itself other than the size. So you could definitely add in a few more bucks to get a bigger one. This same one, there are other versions that are a bit bigger and basically they're just a bit more expensive. Still very cheap, still budget friendly. Of course, not as budget friendly as this one, probably double the price if you want to go for like way bigger than this, the biggest one they have. I feel like I need to kind of connect the skins over here. They look way too separate, so I'm just gonna slightly add some form over here and make these skins connect like that. Okay, so let's take a look at Hulk from the side over here. I feel like I can mask this area, maybe remove from this mask over here, smooth mask, and just work this area nice and easy. Bulk it up a bit, that. All right. Definitely add some form over here. Maybe I need to work this area a bit more as well. I feel like this area here can definitely be improved. All right, so I'm gonna add some wrinkles to this dude because this dude really gets angry all the time. So obviously you're gonna have wrinkles on the forehead. Like so. We want to work the form of the wrinkles, right? Don't just crease these areas. You want to make sure that you are adding volume to these areas because they're getting pushed together by the skin. And because of that, there is some volume. So you want to nicely make this volume appear bulgy like that. This is looking great. I love sculpting these wrinkles, man. Look, that is so fun to do. Really fun to do with this tablet. The advantage of sculpting with a tablet like this instead of, for example, a screen is that when you're sculpting with a screen, you're covering the areas a bit, so you don't always see properly. With a tablet like this, you're not. It gets a second to get used to. Well, it really depends if you're used to it or not. To start with, I'm not. Again, I'm used to sculpting on a screen. Honestly, like I've been sculpting, what, probably a little over an hour or maybe two. I don't know. I have to check, but I'm already a lot more used to it than when I first started the sculpt. So I gotta argue that getting used to this doesn't take a lot of time, but also in the past I did use tablets without screens, so probably have some muscle memory going on over here. But yeah, you get the point. It's something you get used to. Whether it takes a lot of time or not doesn't really matter. It's gonna be better than a mouse, okay? It's better than a mouse. This is not for sculpting. Can we see it? We can't see it. This is not for sculpting. This is. Okay. All right, let's see. What else can we do? Can we sculpt some details over here? Yes, we can. All right, so I'm really adding a lot of details. I don't have to go that much with the details. I'm just kind of having fun with the tablet, to be honest. It's all about trying it out in many different situations, sculpting details, sculpting fast, sculpting slowly. So far, so good. I'm adding some wrinkles here. I don't really know what eye wrinkles look like exactly. I should probably look at reference when I'm doing this, but whatever. So here, I'm just smoothing some of these areas here. I'm gonna smooth this area as well. I'm gonna smooth this area here. This area over here needs some loving. Okay, so I'm gonna smooth this area. And I'll just continue smoothing the sculpt. And from there, I can get back to adding details. I just need to make sure that the form looks nice and smooth before I continue doing so. Here, maybe we could add some form and maybe connect it a bit like this. I can take the sculpt draw brush. I can decrease the strength to something like 0.2 and increase the auto smooth to 0.1. And by doing so, I can create some nice round forms like this and keep things nice and smooth. when we are working with higher amount of details like this one. All right, here I'm gonna add a draw sharp brush, add some details like that. Maybe sharpen this area a bit and take out this part here. And of course I need to connect this. Here I will just add Auto Smooth to the clay brush. Nice. All right, so I'm adding Auto Smooth because simply working at a high poly version of the character, I'd like to have some smooth when I'm adding the brush strokes to keep things nice. All right, so I'm gonna add some form down here and over here, make this a bit bigger. It's a bit too thin in my opinion. So I'm just gonna work on the areas around the nose. Again, I wanna make sure that everything looks nice from all sides. So I need to make sure I'm turning it around enough when sculpting any part of the character. I think I can improve the brows of Hulk over here. It does look a bit flat when I made it go down a bit like that. So I'm going to just add some volume and make it look nice. And I'm paying attention to the spec and the lighting of the shading to know where I should add form and where I should remove from the form. All right, so I'm gonna level this part out a bit, smooth things out, and definitely make this area a bit more volumetric. Look at that, it's already looking a lot more interesting. I think a lot of people would be surprised that you can actually sculpt at this level of detail in Blender. And you can actually sculpt a lot more than this too. I could definitely go higher if I want to add more details. I'm just keeping it as high as I need really, because I think a lot of beginners tend to increase the poly count a bit too much when they don't need to, and it's just a beginner mistake. So here I'm just keeping it at what I need, basically. But you saw how I slowly increased the level of details of Hulk from primary to secondary to tertiary forms. And I didn't jump to the tertiary forms right away. So it's important to do that when sculpting anything really. Maybe work on the wrinkles as well. Make them look a bit more natural. There's this dent over here that doesn't make much sense. So I'm just working it and I'm just working these wrinkles. So yeah, again, working, like I'm trying to get this line over here and it's a bit harder with a small tablet like this, but it's manageable. It's definitely manageable. Maybe remove the symmetry here and just kind of work this area and add some interesting details and removing, you know, symmetry, because symmetry is great and all to get you to work fast, but you know, you need to remember that it would look better if you remove symmetry from time to time and kind of work some details here and there without symmetry. I don't know, maybe add some more sharpness here and some over here, maybe like this. Okay, that is looking beautiful. Now I'm gonna put symmetry back and work this area over here and just continue working these little things, and I'll continue to do that until I get something really decent, which I'm starting to, by the way. All right, so maybe I'll raise his mouth a bit. So to do so, I'm gonna make sure that I mask this upper part. I smooth the mask a few times so that I don't mess it up too much. And then I can raise the face here just a bit like that. Make this area look a little better. All right, that looks good. And I think I'm gonna raise the neck here. It might look better at the end of the day. I'm gonna just scrape off some of these areas here just to make it look a bit more interesting. I'm going to add the neck right here. All right, so I'm gonna work this area here, make it bulgier. I will remove some of the symmetry over here and just work this area without symmetry. It'll make it look a lot more natural in the middle over here if you remove symmetry while doing this parts. And then you can add symmetry later on anyway, so that is one hell of a chest. Add some hair strands down, see if that looks better. I think that's how his hairstyle is, it goes downwards. So maybe I should stick to that. So there you go, some hair strands here. And then with the draw sharp brush, I can start separating some hair strands here and there, like that. And with the snake hook tool, I can always make some of these hair strands a bit longer like this and add in some style, you know what I'm saying? So this is fine. I'm just basically drawing the hair strands here, imagining that the cowlick is right in the middle over here and that the hair is basically swirling around it. Yeah, I did end up changing the style quite a bit from the start of the video, but I like it this way. Change it for a good reason. The nasolabial fold does not look that good, to be honest. So this is definitely an area that I want to work. And I feel like we need to increase this like that. That definitely looks a lot better. Working on this nasolabial fold made the difference. It was a bit too flat. Just trying to make it less flat, I guess. Maybe I can add some folds to the eyes over here. See if that makes it look a bit better. I don't know, but I will try. All right, let's take a look at what we got over here. It is looking great. All right. Very nice high definition Hulk. I guess let's see what we can do next. All right, so I had a little lunch break. Now I'm back at it. I'd like to wrap this up fast, so let's get right into it. All right, so this is an area where a small tablet like this kind of struggles. I want to be very precise on where I'm adding these strokes. So I do tend to make a few Ctrl-Zs here and there, which I usually don't do much. When sculpting, I actually don't undo my work a lot, but I'm undoing it right now because it's just a bit hard to be accurate like I would be able to with this tablet. But again, that's not really an issue. I mean, as you can see, I can still manage more than fine. And we're talking about a huge difference of price between this tablet and this one over here. But again, you can get a bigger tablet, and I think that would tremendously help. You can see over here, it's not really looking smooth. Let me just look for the area. Where is it? Right here. All right. Okay. So just gonna work this area a bit like that. Okay. Looking good. And I'll just make this bit thicker like this. All right. And the lips are looking weird, honestly. So might as well just work this area as well like that. Okay. That's looking great. Lips are looking good. Mouth, eyes, the whole thing is starting to come together. This is really starting to come together. And I'll just take this color, so the color of the hair over here. So I'm gonna increase the strength to 1. And here I will paint the eyes, the iris, or just the whole eye. I'll just paint it black. That's more than fine. So I'm gonna try and pull out some areas here and there and see if that helps with the look. So I'm going to continue with the clay brush at a high resolution for the hair. I'll just kind of indicate the hair strands without really sculpting them too much. And that way we can get a nice sculpty look like this. So I am thinking of the directions of the hair while I do this. I'm not just randomly putting the brushes down, but it's definitely looking kind of cool. So I'm going to continue doing it this way. And here with the sculpt draw brush, I'm just doing some really small hair strands, making it pop out like that. And with control, I can do the inverse effect. And that's actually not that bad. I'm kind of figuring out how to do this as we record this video because I don't usually sculpt hair directly. I usually use curves to kind of get a nice effect, but I wanted to keep it sculpt-like, you know? And create something cool like this. All right, so let me just go right ahead, grab all these 3 pieces together. I'll also grab the eyelid over here, grab this last, Ctrl-J to join them together. So now it's about refinement, baby. It's all about the refinement. I will remove the symmetry here and just basically try and refine this part over here. So here I'm very slightly applying pressure to see if I can get a nice pressure sensitivity with this tablet, and it's doing fine. Not bad. I'm gonna take the draw sharp brush, make some of these areas a bit more prominent, and just work this area a bit like that. I'm gonna see if I can improve this area here just a bit like that. So here I'm going to refine the area that I merged, and of course over here as well. So here I will turn off the x-axis and just quickly add some details like that. All right, cool. Huh? Look at this. This actually looks pretty awesome. So there you go. Hulk, ladies and gentlemen. Hulk made in Blender with a really cheap tablet. All right, anyways, so let me go ahead and give this tablet a go with painting so that we can see if it works with painting as well. Because as you can see with sculpting, we got a pretty good result. So let's get right to it. I'm gonna start painting the Hulk. So I'm gonna go to sculpt mode, go to paint, and I will start painting the Hulk. Maybe go a bit darker, darken this area. I'm gonna turn on the x-axis. So I'm gonna darken this area over here a bit over here as well. A little bit under the eyes like that. And yeah, I'm just gonna add some shadows here and there like this. All right, cool. So for the lips, I don't know if I'll add color. Let me try. So I'm gonna go ahead and add a slight pinkish color over here like this. Nothing too fancy. And let's see, maybe add some yellowish hue to Hulk. There you go, yellow green here. Yeah. Add this over here, a different hue for Hulk. The intensity of the lips color here, I think it's too intense. I want to keep it a bit green and maybe make it a bit darker like that. I'm gonna go back to, let's see, not Matte Cut, but Studio, and I'll add some highlights to the eyes over here like this. Maybe I'll add some more darker colors. Okay, so here I'm gonna add some highlights to the nose. Let me try to switch to matte cap here. We want to add some shadows as well. We shouldn't stick to only highlights. Add some shadows here and there and try to get this to look as interesting as possible. So yeah, I'm just quickly adding some random highlights for the hair. All right, so I'm gonna add some darker colors here and there for the hair, like that. All right, let's take a look at what we just created with this small little cheap tablet. So here we go. I'm gonna zoom in and just move around and just show you all of the details I was able to create with this cheap small tablet that's smaller than my hand and that has a working space that's minuscule. Seriously, this is really small. Definitely fun to use. Definitely enjoyable. There are some pros and cons, which I'll talk about in a second. Let me just turn on the lights and see what we got over here. Damn, that is looking nice. I really like the final results. That's awesome. Look at that. Really cool. He's looking angry. He's looking dangerous. And let's take a look at the cycles render. We won't really be able to see much with the cycles render unless I render, which I could do. So why not? Let me just go ahead and render Mr. Hulk over here right now while I talk a little about this tablet. So the tablet that I ordered, again, this is not sponsored, by the way. I just ordered it because I wanted to find a cheap solution for anyone who wants to sculpt but does not have the means to get an expensive tablet. You never really need a screen tablet. You can get a normal tablet like this one, a bigger one, or you can get this one if you're really on a budget. So this tablet is the Inspiroi H420X tablet right here. And hopefully you can see it on the screen. You probably can. So this is the one I used in this video. So it comes with a cheap pen, a cheap tablet, and some accessories inside. Again, I'm not doing an unboxing video or anything like that. Anyways, if you want, you can get the same one in a bigger format. It has another number. I think it's like H610X or something. I'll add affiliate links down below. So anyways, if you want to sculpt, again, don't you dare ask me if you can sculpt with a mouse, because you can, but it sucks. Seriously, you have a better option that's a budget option and that costs less than many mouses out there. So no more excuses. You can get this tablet and you can start sculpting right away. So you get it. I'll add links below anyways. So if you enjoyed this video, give it a like, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel. And here is a render, a cycles render of the Hulk. So definitely looking pretty awesome. Definitely can't push it further, but I think this is more than enough for the test that we needed to do to make sure that this tablet is worth it. And I give it a thumbs up because it is. I'll see you guys in the next one. Oh, I forgot to talk about the disadvantages of this tablet. It's really small, so it's a bit tiring for the wrist. You need to take breaks, but you got to do that with any tablet really out there. And also you have to make sure to be a little bit careful when you're trying to work with details and be precise. Since the workspace is really small, it's just this big over here. Any movement will really move the cursor a bit too much on the screen. So as you've seen, I was able to create Hulk anyways, even with that constraint. So it's not really the biggest deal out there. And I'm sure you can get used to it, but that's one of the two biggest disadvantages that I've seen with this tablet so far. So yeah, a great tablet. I don't know about durability. I've just sculpted right in front of you, so I don't really know how long this will last. I think you won't have any issues. It's a Huion tablet, generally speaking. I didn't have any issues with Huion tablets. I've used a lot of them. But yeah, so if you want to check it out, I'll add affiliate links down below. Again, it's 30 bucks or around 30 bucks, I think, on Amazon. Just check it out and you'll see how much exactly it is. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next one.